All right, we turn back to the vexing and very difficult issue of the spread of anti-Semitism and how these elite universities and others need to have their darn ears pinned back. Now, the great Alan Dershowitz, be here in 1 second. He writes in the Daily Mail, and I'm going to quote, "Fire Harvard's Claudine Gay from my old college now, and then dismantle, discredit, and utterly destroy the Orwellian DEI groupthink that put her there in the first place." And he joins us now, Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, author of War Against Jews, How to End Hamas Barbarism. DEI, among other things, Alan, that is bringing down the great universities and helping to spawn all this anti-Semitism.
It is the main cause of anti-Semitism on campus today. It divides students along racial lines and religious lines, and it creates a zero-sum game. If you are in favor of one group, you're against another group. It is a real problem. It is anti-intellectual. It is dishonest in many ways. Look, it uses the word diversity, but it means only racial diversity. Less than 3% of the faculty at Harvard identify as conservative. They say equity, which suggests equality, but equity is the exact opposite of equality. Indeed, under equity, if you dare to quote Martin Luther King's dream of a world where children are judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, you've committed a microaggression. And inclusion, Larry Summers has made it clear that inclusion has excluded Jews over the years. And so it's a fraudulent concept, a dangerous concept. But 700 of my colleagues at Harvard, professors, have come out pandering to President Gay and calling for her to remain on. They don't want people like you and me, who are now outsiders, to have any influence on Harvard, but they refuse to answer the legitimate points made by people like Bill Ackerman. They just dismiss him out of hand because he's a rich alumni. But that's, schools are, colleges and universities are not only the current faculty, not only the current students, but they are alumni and they are the future students. They are great institutions. And DEI is destroying these institutions, and President Gay is a product of DEI. She championed it. That's how she became president. She is the symbol of DEI, and the symbol has failed, and she must also recognize her own failure and her role in that failure.
You mentioned me on the radio this weekend, a key point, that with DEI in fashion, in vogue, a lot of these, I'll call them subheading faculty departments that shouldn't really be their own faculty departments have sprung up, like Middle Eastern studies, or even more subheadings underneath Middle Eastern studies, and that's part of the problem, and that you've got a whole bunch of tenured professors teaching in those subheading departments that shouldn't have existed in the first place.
That's a bigger problem, actually, than DEI, because these departments have tenured professors who can't be fired. The departments, however, can be abolished, and we should immediately abolish Black studies, gay studies, South Asian studies, Jewish studies. You go to university to study, to learn how to think, not to be part of a club, not to become part of a cheering section. And these departments, some of them are quite good academically, but many of them, for example, critical race theory. There's no such thing. If you're critical of race, you're not allowed in. It's uncritical race theory, and it's uncritical studying. It's rooting sections for these identity politics groups, and it's destroying education. Look, Harvard ranked last on free speech, right. And suddenly they discovered free speech on October 7th, and these other presidents discovered free speech. They discovered it when it was used against Jews. They didn't know about free speech when it was claimed by people who had been accused of microaggressions. Free speech was, a patriarchal thing of the past, but now suddenly they're all hanging on to free speech in order to justify their failure to do anything and say anything about people on campus who were calling for the death of Jews.
Professor Dershowitz, the last one, of course, the president of Penn is gone. Do you think the head of Harvard University, Claudine Gay, will she survive, or is she going to be gone too?
I think she'll survive because she has so many people pandering to her, the members of the faculty, members of the alumni, members of Black Alumni Association. she has put together, or people on her behalf put together, this incredible effort to try to keep her on. But she will not succeed. I don't think her presidency will be successful. I hope she resigns. I think that would be the best thing that could happen to Harvard. I doubt she will, and I suspect one of the reasons that a lot of the professors have signed on to this letter is because they know that she's going to stay on, and they don't want to be in her bad graces.
Got it. All right, the great Al Dershowitz, Professor Dershowitz, thank you, sir. As always, love having you on the show.